He was the man who could turn sadness into laughter and loneliness into applause. In 1997, Robin Williams brought the world to tears with Good Will Hunting, a film that earned him an Oscar and sealed his name among Hollywood's brightest. Yet behind that radiant smile was a silence no one heard. Friends described him as always on, a whirlwind of joy masking storms no camera ever captured. For decades, audiences believed laughter was his gift. Few realized it was also his shield. He played teachers, fathers, even genies who granted wishes, but his own wish, to find peace, remained unfulfilled. Years later, the truth began to surface. The diaries, the quiet confessions, the unseen illness that slowly dimmed his light. What truly happened to the man who made the world laugh? And how could a soul that bright fade so silently into the shadows? Few performers could hold a mirror to the human heart like Robin Williams. From the alien charm of Mork and Mindy to the heartfelt chaos of Mrs. Doubtfire, and the haunting inspiration of Dead Poets Society, his characters became timeless companions for generations. Each role seemed to burst with life, the kind of laughter that healed, the kind of tears that told us we weren't alone. When Good Will Hunting premiered in 1997, audiences witnessed a different side of Williams. As Dr. Sean Maguire, he delivered not comedy, but compassion, the kind that felt drawn from real pain. The performance earned him an Academy Award, yet those who knew him said the role was too close to home. Behind the warmth in his eyes lay the exhaustion of a man who gave everything on screen and often too much off it. Hollywood celebrated him as a genius of improvisation, a lightning bolt of emotion. But genius has its weight. Fame magnified every flaw, every doubt, until applause itself became a burden. He once said, "Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about." Those words would soon define his own life, a story where laughter was both his gift and his disguise. So what truly happened to the man who made the world believe joy was easy? Robin McLaurin Williams was born on the 21st of July, 1951, in Chicago, Illinois. When Mork and Mindy hit television screens in 1978, he was only 27, a young man who seemed to channel lightning through laughter. His character, the alien Mork from Ork, wasn't just funny. He was chaotic, heartfelt, unpredictable, exactly like the man himself. Audiences fell in love with his quicksilver wit, his ability to jump from absurd to profound in a heartbeat. What few realized was that every burst of energy came from a restless mind that never stopped racing. Comedy became his oxygen. He once admitted that he needed the stage the way others needed air. From Good Morning, Vietnam to Dead Poets Society, Hook, Aladdin, and Mrs. Doubtfire, his voice became part of global memory. Children heard him as the genie who could grant wishes. Adults saw him as the teacher who whispered, "Carpe diem." Yet off-screen, that same boundless imagination sometimes trapped him. In the late 1980 seconds and 1990 seconds, Robin was untouchable. The box office magnet who could make the world laugh and cry in a single scene. He worked relentlessly, often juggling multiple films a year, pouring himself into every role. Colleagues described him as a hurricane of kindness, always giving, always joking, always afraid of silence. Fame, however, has a way of amplifying what lies beneath. For Robin, the pressure to remain the funny man became its own kind of cage. He feared stillness because stillness meant facing what he couldn't joke away: exhaustion, isolation, and self-doubt. By the early 2000s, his energy began to flicker. He sought smaller, darker roles in one-hour photo and insomnia, as if searching for the truth hidden behind the smiles. These performances revealed not the clown, but the man quietly unraveling. Behind every punchline was a question he couldn't answer. Could laughter heal him, too? In his private journals, Robin sometimes wrote about feeling trapped inside his own head, as if the lights were on but no one was home. Those close to him later spoke of his confusion, his fear that his thoughts were slipping away. Doctors would eventually identify the culprit, a rare neurological disorder known as Lewy body dementia, a condition that mimics and magnifies depression while robbing its victim of clarity, control, and memory. For an artist whose genius depended on words and timing, losing control of thought was unbearable. Friends noticed the change-forgotten lines, moments of hesitation, tears that came without warning. Yet he hid it behind humor, the only weapon he trusted. He called it a silent battle, and for him, it truly was. A storm that no applause could quiet. In 2014, that battle reached its final chapter. The headlines were brief, the shock immense. The world lost its laughter, and Hollywood dimmed its lights. But those who loved him knew his departure was not an act of surrender, it was the heartbreaking end of a mind fighting an invisible enemy. His passing remained mysterious, surrounded by questions, letters, and the ache of what might have been. After his mysterious passing, the world revisited every interview, every laugh, every role, searching for clues they had missed. His family revealed the truth about his illness, hoping people would understand the pain he endured in silence. They described him as gentle, even in despair, more worried about others than himself. His home became a sanctuary of memories, sketches, handwritten notes, the scripts he had annotated with little jokes in the margins. Publicly, tributes poured in from around the world. Bridges in San Francisco were lit blue in honor of the genie. Fans left thousands of messages saying thank you for the laughter. Yet behind those tributes, quiet disputes over his estate emerged, typical of a legacy as vast as his. Most reports estimate Robin Williams's net worth at around $50 million at the time of his passing, a fortune reflecting a lifetime of creativity and compassion. It was divided among his wife and 3 children, not without tension but ultimately in respect of his wishes. Today, his laughter still echoes in the voices of actors he inspired and in the lines of films that defined generations. His work remains a lesson in empathy, proof that comedy can be as deep as tragedy. Robin once said, "I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy, because they know what it feels like to feel absolutely worthless." Those words became his epitaph, not of despair, but of understanding. The world remembers Robin Williams not for how he left, but for what he left behind. A library of laughter, a theater of kindness, and the haunting reminder that even joy can have shadows. He was a man who taught us to laugh without cruelty and to cry without shame. His story is not just about loss, it's about the courage to keep performing when your own heart is breaking. On screen, Robin Williams was the embodiment of light, the teacher who set minds free, the father who fought for love, the friend who never stopped believing in magic. Off-screen, he carried the quiet weight of a man who had given too much of himself to the world. His story reminds us that laughter and pain are not opposites but twins born from the same heart. Fame crowned him with applause, but it also stole the silence he needed to heal. In the end, the man who made everyone else feel seen was the one who felt invisible. Yet his legacy endures, not in the way he left this world, but in the millions of lives he touched. Every time a child laughs at the genie, every time someone whispers "Carpe diem," his spirit flickers back to life. On the surface, he was comedy's brightest light. In truth, he was its most fragile soul. So, after all the laughter, all the tears, All the memories, what do you see when the curtain falls? A legend? A man? Or perhaps both? Forever bound by the silence behind the laughter? If this story touched your heart, let his light live on. Like, comment, and share this video so that the laughter Robin gave the world never fades into silence. Subscribe to Fame and Shadows to uncover the hidden truths behind the faces we thought we knew, the legends who shined the brightest and fell the hardest. Because behind every moment of fame, there is a story the world forgets to tell. And behind every legend, there is always a shadow.